Oh.
Welcome back, episode 122 of the Grouch and the Brainstorm. I am Mike, and I'm
Mike.
here today with Jill
Hey, guys.
and Matt,
Hey.
and together we are the Grouch and the Brainstorm. Overlay is now back on, so you can see our brand. You know, yes, Matt bought
Very
all,
nice.
Matt bought all the underwear in the shop that we had. So there was only 2 pair, but still, he bought all of them. So yeah,
Turn them inside out. That's 4 days a week. You
that
make
is
it right there
or
with
5 if
underwear.
the first ones aren't soiled.
Well,
So
Dude, what?
you are talking about Matt. So.
yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any announcements?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
All right, Matt. Tell us about these.
Our
now.
buddy Cal, good buddy, friend here, hangs out with us
On the show quite often.
on the show. He just recently was on the show. 8 years of continuous sobriety.
Amazing.
Pretty proud of that
Congratulations,
guy.
Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And,
awesome.
I remember the day he walked in. I remember the very first meeting he was at.
Yeah. He
Pretty
used to-
cool, man.
He
8
used to
years
bring
later.
his daughter in. I mean, bring her in. And,
I don't know how old his daughter is, but she was a baby. Just a baby.
She's the same as my younger daughter. They're 9, 10 years old now. And
Yeah.
I mean, she was probably 2, 1.5, 2 when
Oh, my gosh.
kind of same
I bet
age
she's
Andy was,
so
you know.
precious.
yeah, she
yeah.
was a little bitty thing.
He would
I mean,
literally bring her in with a little backpack with a sippy cup, colors, and he would put her at the table and she'd sit there and color. I mean, he didn't miss a meeting, man.
And I think it was a few years later, maybe 4 years later, I came in and saw her. I was like, oh my gosh, that's that baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's
Sweet
amazing.
kid, man. He's a good dad and a good guy, and we're pretty proud of him.
Heck of a guy, man. Heck of a guy. Heck of a guy in recovery. Heck of a friend. Heck of
Yeah,
a
he is.
father. Jill, what have you been up to?
I have been, well, I suppose I've been trying to just catch up from, my trip, getting the rest and all the self-care that I can get in. I just haven't bounced back quite yet.
Was it hotter up there in North Carolina than it was?
No.
Or warm. I mean,
No.
cooler there
Oh,
than
yeah,
here.
absolutely.
Like a big difference.
I mean, it was around, mid 70s, got in the 60s at night. Yeah, it was a difference for sure. I mean, and plus it's just, God, it's so
Not humid.
beautiful.
Well, that's up there by the Smoky Mountains, right?
We were in the Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge. Okay.
Yeah, but pretty much, yeah.
I used to know a girl that lived in Blue Ridge Trailer Park.
Not the same as the Blue Ridge Mountains.
No, definitely a little bit
Okay, I was
different
like, is that a
view.
country song?
different scenery.
A lot of humidity at the trailer park.
But yeah, trying to
Lot
shake
of
back, catch up on, my sleep. And I had a good friend come in town and swing through, and I got to have dinner with her at this really cool vegan restaurant in Shreveport. It's like a community kitchen. And it was actually amazing. I got nachos, and I don't think anybody could tell
But
they
they don't
were
make them out
vegan.
of chips, do they? They're made out of like.
Make
This
them-
is. I'm sorry.
Chips.
This is
Tortilla
one of-
chips are vegan. They're corn.
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. She's not. What's that other one?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I went to one with my mother, and if she's listening, it's closed down now, and it should be because of how horrible
Yeah.
that place was. But they said I'm looking on the menu, and it said we have a BLT sandwich, and I said, let me get that because I know what that B stands for, bacon, baby. And she goes, no, it's coconut. And I said, coconut starts with a C, and bacon starts with a B. And she goes, we know. But we color it to look like bacon, and I was like, "This is the nastiest
Well,
thing
I'll
I've
tell
ever
you
heard
what,
of."
those were some of the best nachos I've ever had. It's vegan on the run. I was quite impressed.
It was in Shreveport.
Yes, actually very impressed. And so shout out to them. I was raised a vegetarian and love to eat, vegan, vegetarian, quite a bit. And so
I like to try
it was a
things, but
delight.
some of that I don't understand. Like I can't. If it doesn't taste good, I don't want to eat it.
Yeah,
you know?
well, and I wouldn't have if it didn't taste good, but it
Yeah.
actually tastes great.
And some of it's great, some of it is just
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
So
I think, like I said, I just working. I go to bed. I've been going to bed around 7:30 just to, because I'm exhausted. I've been exhausted, but I feel great emotionally. It was an amazing trip that gave me like a sense of renewal, which I absolutely needed.
I would like to get some, like, you know how they do those reality shows and they put cameras all over a house?
Yeah.
I would like to send all my kids for 1 week over to Jill's house and just camera and
How
mic
did
it
your
up.
camera
And then
just like just get over so far in that little bit of time? I look at you right there now.
Look.
Yeah, now we can see you, man.
See, I didn't even move my hands. Look,
Tilt it
no.
up. We can see your cleavage. There you go. Much
you
better.
you owe me $1. But yeah, so anyway.
Don't put it in your cleavage.
No, I mean, it would go horribly wrong. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that I would have to be driven to
That's what I'm-
Brentwood within the first 12 hours. And I'm very, and we're going to talk about this today. I'm very sensory sensitive. I mean, like, to everything, light, sounds, people, all of it. And part of my self-care is protecting that, because there's only so much I can take in before I will literally have a sensory overload attack. And they're
Is that like a panic attack?
it's not like a panic attack at all. I've had thousands of panic attacks, and it's different from it because I'm not panicking, but there is a sense of fight or flight, but I don't feel like I'm dying, but I have to leave. And I've had it happen a lot of times in recovery, and just little things like too much wind. Like wind, I don't like wind a whole lot, and it will bother me. Rain will bother me. Like, I don't like being touched by rain. It's all sensory stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, fun times.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't you?
No, I mean, I'm not, mine's more like just crazy loud chaos. Like, I don't mind rain or wind or any of that type stuff, but just a lot of loud voices, a lot of like.
Oh, that will definitely as well.
Now, if it's music, it doesn't bother me. But if it's just a bunch of people yelling and hollering, yeah, that gets on my,
I could go down a
you know?
list of like a lot of things, like ice bother. I mean, just so many things.
Ice bothers you?
Yeah. Do you ever see me with ice?
Yeah, Mike love ice.
I love ice.
Yeah, no, I don't mess with it.
Dang. We learn more stuff about Jill, man. Like, for real. I didn't even know you could be bothered by wind. Like, I'm not even
It
being
has
funny.
a lot
like,
to do with like your tactile sense. It has a lot
Yeah.
to do with
Tactile sense.
I knew
man.
you were going to
Shit.
chime in on that, Mike.
well,
Everybody knows
it's,
that.
it's
Like,
things
yeah.
that you feel, and I'm very
got you.
sensitive to stuff. It's common with neurodivergent, people.
I don't like flannel blankets.
Oh,
Well,
I hate 'em.
Like wool, no go.
yeah, I don't like those.
Yeah,
So-
it's just stuff like that, but it's not a like. It's not like a dislike. It's like it sends me into a fight or flight kind of deal. So,
Wow.
and there's all kinds of different things that will do that. I'm hyper sensitive, but yeah. Anyway, good times, huh?
well, okay. Yeah. What's that little emoji
Mike-
with the head blown off?
Mike
You know?
always, every time you say a big word, Mike always tries to look over at me and be like, yeah, like he knew what the word was,
So
Means touch.
tell me about what you've been up to, Matt.
Man, cutting grass in this beautiful sunshine.
Cutting grass and kicking ass. That's the bumper sticker Matt has
Kicking
on.
ass, trying to not die out there right now. And, yeah, it's hot, but I just take it slow, man. Just do the best I can, and that's all you can do in this kind of weather. Any guys that work in this kind of weather, y'all already know. It's just you just do what you can, and let it will pass, and do the hard stuff early in the morning and light stuff in the afternoon, and just kind of let the day taper off, and that's
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you just have to approach it that way, and I would much rather it be 105 than 20.
I remember when my dad and his crew, and my dad was probably my age. He retired when he was, I don't know, 62, 63, 60, somewhere in there, right? But they would actually go to work like at 4 o'clock in the morning and do like a 4 to 12 or 4 to 1. But I'm going to tell you, man, in Texas, it's freaking 1 o'clock, bro. It's
We I mean, like I cut there's a Mexican restaurant right down the street. I cut them at 5 o'clock the other morning. I was cranking a mower at 5. It was in the dark, but there's lights in the parking lot.
Don't blame you.
So
Don't blame you at all.
I had that cut before the sun came up. So yeah, by 1, 2 o'clock, I'm done. Like I may have little something to go do, but I ain't doing too much. It's
Yeah.
But I've been down that road with the heat stroke and all that stuff years ago, and that's nothing to be trifled with. And so, but yeah, going out of town, play golf this weekend with my dad, see those guys. My dad and I have 2 brothers, younger, half brothers, I guess you would say, but they're golfers. We're going down there. We've been playing in a little tournament for about 15 years, and gonna go down there and see how bad I can play. I'm that golfer that will play in one tournament a year. My clubs have not been touched since I left there last year. So there's been 0 practice. Okay.
Wyatt's clubs hadn't even came out of the plastic.
And I will go down there and my dad will go, "You been playing any?" And I'm like, "What time did I leave here last year?" That's the last time I swung one. So, yeah, so that's how I roll. But yeah, it's fun, man. We go do a little goofing off, and Lacey and I, we don't have kids. Hallelujah, this weekend. And, gonna go down there and just enjoy and hang out and see what's happening in Natchez. So
Sounds nice.
yeah, ready to get out of
Self-care.
the house. Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long summer, and we've been kind of under the grind, and it's nice just to, even if you run self-care, I mean, run, see grandbabies, or just getting out of town. I think when you move, Jimmy Buffett said, changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes. That's kind of that kind of thing. You kind of reset the clock a little bit,
Yeah,
so you
and
get out of the
that's-
rut,
I feel like it did. That vacation did just, gosh, amazing things for me.
Yeah, and you, like, mine's 7 days a week this time of year, and there's no rain coming, there's no chance of getting off, and so you get stuck in that grind of I'm behind, and that's all you do every day. Man, that wears you down mentally, and I've gotten better. I mean, 17 years of it, I know what time of year it is. I had a customer call and wanted bush hogging done. He said, "My grass is this tall," and I said, "Everybody's grass is that tall. I love you. I'll get there as fast as I can, but
Yeah,
it's 105. So,
for sure.
and I just let it go. I don't stress too much on it anymore, but
Dude, you can't. It's not worth it.
and it's part of that is going, I'm one guy, I'm an old wore out fat guy too. So I'm slow and, I'm gonna just get it there as I can get
Man,
there.
I
And that's
get it.
all I can do.
I'm there
So,
with you, bro. So, we haven't talked about it yet in this podcast because, the audience doesn't know we stopped recording, and because I wasn't recording, the record button wasn't on. But, the world lost 3 really talented individuals this week, starting with Malcolm Jamal Warner. Everyone might know as Theo on the Cosby Show growing up in my generation, right? He was actually 54. I'm 52. He's only a couple years older than me. So you can relate to that. And then we turn around and a couple days later, the legendary Ozzy Osbourne has passed. And that, Theo, I want to call him Theo. His name is Malcolm. His passing was completely an accident and by surprise, right?
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne turned around, passed away. His passing, maybe not as a surprise, but it's still kind of a whop to the chest because most of us have grown up with the legendary entertainer. And then just today, Hulk Hogan has passed away. And the Mangione trumpet player guy also passed away. And
Wait, what?
yeah, I think his name was Chuck Mangione.
I don't know that guy.
He was a trumpet player.
Oh, yeah. No idea.
Nobody fucking knows what it is. So
Nothing's ringing a
she's
bell
into
over
some
here.
classy shit like Tom Jones.
Yeah.
No.
Sex pot.
No, gross. He's just
Showing
like
them tight jeans.
literally the most cringy performer ever.
I mean, look, him and Conway Twitty, between them,
Cringe as well.
2 of the, pictures of masculinity right there, viral.
No, no.
Yeah. So,
I don't see the appeal.
The appeal.
Not at all. Like not even 0.5%. Like,
Yeah.
like there's just none.
It's
Well,
just
he is 85 years old, so he's going to appeal to a different generation. I hope
at the nursing home. That crowd.
they may be even a little too young for that, you know.
Right.
But there's people my age in the
tough.
nursing home just because you start getting that discount at IHOP when you're 55. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
yeah. I think it's.
Guess what? I'm getting emails from the AARP.
I get regular mail from the AARP.
It's starting to
and,
happen.
AARP.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you go on like a nursing home tour when you're that age or whatever, like worldwide, and you just hit every nursing home, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it goes that smooth.
But I mean, I will say
most
this: I
people.
don't know that much about the guy, but to be 85, if you're still doing concerts and stuff, and people are still buying tickets, that's pretty awesome.
Wait, he's still touring?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, he's still touring.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Tom Jones, sex pot. So anyway, but we lost 3 good entertainers, 3 people. I mean, they have families. They're entertainers to us, but they're human beings. And so we gotta at least mention it. We don't want it to look like that, people in recovery are just oblivious to, shit that don't exist. And then I want to, also, we got to think about some of the things that, go into the lifestyle of, let's say, Ozzy to live that long. We were talking about self-care earlier. The topic of the meeting is going to be self-care, right?
Yeah.
So obviously Malcolm's passing was an accidental drowning, so reportedly. Ozzy though died at 76? Hulk Hogan
Sounds like it.
71. How much self-care do you think was involved in those lifestyles?
I think Ozzy skipped a lot. Okay, I'm just putting it out there.
I think 76 is a ripe old age, to be quite honest with you, with almost
From what they did, I mean, especially like Hulk Hogan physically, and what Ozzy did with the drugs, sniffing ants and whatnot, eating bats.
Eating bats, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And no one should be surprised because they both lived a very, very,
Full.
I mean, just loud lifestyle
Sure.
with a lot of questionable.
I mean, the fact that Ozzy made it as long as he did, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know if he ever got sober. He didn't. I don't
think
know.
he swung a bat and kind of hit every once in a while. I think
Yeah.
there wasn't. Man, this could be wrong. We only see what TV shows us. This dude could have been sober the last 20 years and
Yeah.
we wouldn't know that
Yeah.
because who knows? That might have ruined his image.
Sure.
He may have really been sober because Ozzy was a character. Ozzy
Absolutely.
wasn't. I mean, he I don't know. His whole life was exposed on television, but he was a character. We don't know, but from what the television shows, he swung at it a few times and hit and
Yeah.
but
He wasn't doing well then when he had those TV shows. Because I watched them because I love Ozzy. I love him.
Yeah, yeah. I think everybody. There's not many people don't like Ozzy. I
could probably think of a lot of people,
well, yeah, but
but I'm a rocker.
yeah. I mean, most people. I would. I mean, he was pretty awesome. But it's funny when you see. I don't know how many famous people y'all been around, like in parts of their life where they're not being famous.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just
like me, Matt.
Well,
Oh my God.
I didn't want to. I wasn't going to point
When we're
anything
doing
out.
this, but go ahead, keep talking.
But I remember growing up and just like having interactions with people that were famous, and it was just kind of cool to go, oh, they're just living their life, like that singing or whatever they do is a part of it, but they're living their life. And I was in
How does that camera keep working its way? Are you?
I don't know.
It keeps working its way. Matt's a little dingy. He keeps hitting it. You're good, Matt. Keep going, living their life.
But yeah, they're out there living their life, and you bump into people and they're in the grocery store and you're like, oh wait, you sing for that band, and they're like, oh, I'm just getting groceries with my kid, or whatever, and I just that's always been pretty cool when you realize folks pass away like that, and we have this image of them, but at the same time they had a whole other life we don't know anything about,
Absolutely.
So
And that's true, you know, and that goes for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
You got perfectly normal people, and everybody admires them, and the next thing
and
you
they're
know,
psycho.
next thing you know, they're swinging from a tree out in front of Jill's house. You know,
Yeah.
Well, some people also
Or
give
living
off
in the tree.
vibes, and they're not that kind of person. That's just the vibe they give.
Yeah.
You know,
There's y'all. I don't know if y'all out there just have that. I watch a lot of that stuff, like serial killers. I torment Lacey with that stuff. She hates it, you know. But I just like watching stuff like that because I always want to be able to guess in real life. Oh, that's a serial
That's
killer.
him.
Like I see one
That's
now,
her.
and like there's people I've met, and I'm just like, there's some bodies buried in a basement somewhere, you know, with that guy. But nothing's been come out yet. So
Stay tuned, huh?
yeah, stay tuned. That's how my mind works. So
Well, and I can think, like, especially with Hulk Hogan and Ozzy, I believe they had such a chaotic lifestyle, and they just got to a point to where they just couldn't go like they used to, and they probably wish they could have rewind the clocks and all of that, and probably had to jump into a lot of self-care to last as long as they did. I think sometimes we're put into situations to where we have to use every skill that we have just to make it through whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I know that in my addiction, there was no self-care.
none,
I mean, absolutely zero.
zero.
And I didn't even know what that meant. I mean, I just used.
Well,
and
have you ever met anyone that called in for a mental health day?
yes, I have.
Yeah.
we don't have those in the grass business.
we don't. Yeah. Like I'm saying that's part of self-care. You know, now everyone I've
Absolutely.
ever known that called in for a mental health day probably needed a mental health week. You know, that day shit just wasn't good enough. But
Yeah.
but you know, that is part of self-care. You know, unless I'm salary, so it's easy for me to say that. Okay, I get paid the same thing regardless. I could work 1,000 hours a week, which there's 168, but I could work 168 hours a week. I could work 5. My check ain't gonna change no matter what, right? I could work 5 days, 3 days, nothing's gonna change. So it's easy for me to say that. But so there are people out there who can't call in because they got to eat. You got to pay your rent, right? But there's also, maybe that's not going to do you any good if you end up with some form of relapse or breakdown because you're not taking care of yourself, right?
Right.
And letting people get to you is a big part of that.
Absolutely.
And that's part of what AA will do. It'll say, hey, look, you got to accept them for who or what they are and also accept the fact you can't change them. That stuff that's driving you crazy is there just to drive you crazy. It's not there because you're so important.
Right.
You got to let that shit go.
Right.
This ain't about you. That's also part of that selfishness that we talk about in Alcoholics Anonymous. We think everything is about us. So they did that because they were trying to get to, they did it because they did get to you. You let them is where we have the
Exactly.
disconnection, right?
Exactly.
And when I say you let them, I mean, I don't mean you didn't beat them up
Well, no,
or put
it's-
sugar in their gas tank. You allowed that to be done to you if you had an attitude of, hey, that's who they are. That's the best they can do, but I'm going to do what I'm got to be focused on. A lot of that. And AA does do a lot of self-care. I would say spend an hour, on my body, an hour on my mind, an hour on my soul, right? Working out or taking a walk, an hour on my soul, maybe doing some prayer, meditation, an hour on my what was the other one? Mind. I said body, mind, and soul.
Yep.
So
Okay.
an hour on my mind. So I might play a puzzle game for an hour, or I might read some trivia or read a book. I do a lot of reading. You
do.
Right? And I still haven't got my proportions right. So I might spend 4 hours reading a book and no hours, doing any exercising.
Oh, it's the balance, and trying to find that. I think that learning, staying sober and learning more about myself reveals more on how I need to take care of myself, because I think like in the first 5 years, I had little insight to what that meant. I know that at first it was a physical thing. So self-care then meant a lot of sleep. I mean, I slept early recovery away. I made my meetings. I did what I was supposed to do for the most part, but my body had to shake back. And, when I started getting into all the emotional stuff, after a few years of recovery and learning how.
So
I think learning
I'm going
that.
to pause you.
Okay.
Because you said something important and maybe the listeners didn't catch it. You started on the emotional stuff after a few years in recovery.
Well, I mean, I started.
No, that's important because I think maybe gathering a routine is more important than going after the get that low hanging fruit and then go after the stuff that may challenge your mind because you have somewhere to go, right?
Yeah.
I've been in recovery for 2 years. Now I'm going to start on this emotional stuff. And if it gets to me, I've got a sponsor, I've got a room, I've got a meet, I got something.
I think what I'm trying to say is that I didn't have the insight at first. Like I started the emotional work immediately, but there was only certain things that were revealed to me, and because of my lack of insight. And I think throughout the years, more and more has been revealed. And like I used to think I was this big extrovert because I was always out partying, always. I learned that I absolutely 100%. Was not. I am very much an introvert, and I require seriously, I require a lot of downtime because I'm so sensory sensitive to everything from lights to sounds to people to the weather, everything.
Earth, wind, and fire.
That's right.
Another great sexy band.
And some of you guys know what I'm talking about. I think that my whole life I drank and used to cover kind of all this stuff up along with emotional and other things. But learning these things about me that trigger me emotionally, because when I get triggered due to my senses, go into fight or flight.
Yeah.
And, I've just learned like, I have to set boundaries. There's a lot of things I can't do because it takes away my peace. And that means like ridiculous things like no ice in my drinks.
Yeah.
Not wearing wool pants.
Yeah.
Oh, why? No, I can't really think of any. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Or not being around large crowds, loud noises. I'm in a very chaotic job where there's a lot of that. A lot of needy, a lot of attention-seeking behaviors, and when I get off work, my hour drive home is me decompressing, and even when I get home, it's still me decompressing, and it's me setting a boundary that it's huge. It's part of my self-care, and there are things that I had to kind of surrender in order to do that, but it's that I would never suggest really to anybody, but. I know.
Yeah, the fact you recognize it and it works for you, and it's really if somebody else has a problem with it, well,
that's their damn problem.
Well,
yeah.
Well, and you know what? This is all for my mental health, and I can only take in so much a day, and I mean that limit.
And like we were picking, but at the same time we're talking about the wind and the wool pants and all that. But it doesn't. That's the great thing about all this. Is what bothers you may not bother me. It may not bother Mike. We'll sit over there and go, that's odd. But it's not something we deal with. But yet, I'm sure I got crap that you'd be like, what's his problem?
Exactly.
So
we all have our quirks.
Yeah.
We all have our limits.
And the beautiful thing is the same program you've been able to figure out with folks helping you in the program. This is how I tick. This is what makes me do my thing. Mm-hmm. These are my hot buttons that don't need to be, I need to be careful. And I've figured out a lot of those myself for me. And it can be, everybody can have individual weird, if you want to call it that, stuff.
Well, if it's weird and it's not weird to you, then it's just not weird because it's nobody else's business.
Sure. Right.
And shame on any group of people that may be sitting around talking about something that I do.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Right,
absolutely.
Like y'all don't have anything better than talk about what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that especially, and I know this, I think a lot of women will relate to this because I do talk about this quite a bit. And I'm sure you guys like, would you stop fucking talking about menopause? That brought in a whole different set of self-care because things go it's like opposite day. Your emotional health, your body's doing weird things, you're aching. I mean, it's mine has been pretty severe, and it's affected my mental health, and it has been everything for me to keep my just to stay with it. It really has, and it's been very scary. And I got into a lot of fear because I started having anxiety attacks again. I was doing this, fight or flight thing, these overstimulated like attacks and everything, and things had to change because I just I just can't.
But self-care ties into self-worth too. And so you figured out, I want to be the best me I can be, and I'm worth working on. And so I'm going to do things to take care of myself, and it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks about it.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about what other people think too much. I know, I just know that there's only so much I can handle right now. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of women will understand that, and the fact, especially going through menopause, because there's so many things going on, mentally, physically, and everything, that it's just like, I can't handle it. And I don't know why that I just broke out in song.
I feel like Cat Williams sometimes when he got sent to the crazy house in his routine, and they chained him up to a guy that was like eating his own hair or whatever. And he goes, I thought I was wild. And then they got me in there with some real wild people. And he said, I started praying. And I said, Lord, this your humble servant Cat.
Right.
My cup runneth over. Sometimes my cup be running over.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has. And, I'm limiting myself to things that I can do because I'm trying to stay sane. And self-care lately has literally been like, it's been massages. I know that may sound ridiculous.
You mean messages?
No, I'm talking about massages. It means...
Oh, I get them mixed up. I get a lot of messages.
No.
I don't get any massages.
It means coming home after work and unplugging. It is me just kind of, relaxing. It is, there's just been this hormone therapy. It's just, there's so many things, but it's me being out on my farm.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
I have a lot of joy here, and I feel like I'm turning into my dad and turning into this like hermit. And I wouldn't say that I isolate, because I do have a lot of friends and I go out and do things and stuff, but I require more me time. I require way more downtime than I've ever required in my whole entire life.
We age too, and I'm not being a smart aleck. Like,
no,
I don't do
right.
the same way when I was 25 that I do now, and I've accepted that I'm not 25 anymore. And we had a place that I bush hog and keep up. One of the places, it's a farm. It's got cattle on it. It's the summer. There's a ditch filled with water the cattle cross. Some of the cows are old. One got stuck in the mud the other day. So it's on my Instagram page. You can see where I hooked her to a strap, right? But that happens. It's kind of a common thing. So I've done it before. I'm out there bush hogging. I see her stuck, and I'm like, I'm going to not stop and go up to the barn and get a strap and come back down and pull her out. I'll see if I can kind of just, sometimes they're not that bad stuck, and you can kind of clap your hands, make a noise, pop them on the butt a little bit, and they'll jump up out of it.
Yeah.
So my stupid self stood right over her head she's down in the deal. And I was like, hey, kind of,
you were talking
not
to her?
thinking, trying to get her to jump up.
Yeah.
And she did. She was about halfway stuck, but when she did, she put her head right here and lunged about as hard as a 1,500-pound cow can do that.
My gosh.
And so what I did was I went ass over tea kettle in that field and landed on my shoulder and my neck, and I was like, I think I knocked myself out. Cow still stuck in the mud. I'm knocked out. So the problem was, it took me 2 weeks to get over that. And I could have just went up there and got a strap. Now my shoulder's jacked up, my neck's jacked up. It still ain't right. but
Yeah, I mean, we are aging, and
we just don't
that's for
recover.
sure.
So there's things that I do slower now, and I go, I'm going to be a little smarter about this because it's not accomplishing nothing.
Yeah,
by
I don't
me
want to throw
trying
my
save.
back out,
Yeah,
for a week.
Yeah.
Because literally, I will do that. I can't go like I used to. But I tell you one thing it's not that I people pleased, but I say more no's now than I ever have in my life.
Yeah,
And I've had people get mad at me. I've had friends, think that I'm like some kind of asshole, and I'm like, you just has nothing to do with you.
yeah.
I need to be alone.
I really
Can you
like.
imagine being married and having that problem? It's one of the reasons why I don't get married.
Well, like but like
Well, that and the fact that I have no interest in it.
with Lacey and I and the kids, I like doing a lot of stuff, but man, I'm ready to go home at the end of the day, and that's around them and the kids and the grandkids. That's all fine. I don't want to be around crowds of people or just random people. I don't want nothing to do with all that most of the time.
Yeah.
But I look forward to pulling up in the driveway and I'm home and the boys and the girls and everybody's, doing their thing and they're wild and that's fine. But that's my people, and I don't, it's a different category.
I get that,
Yeah.
because like if I'm around my majority of my, for the most part, majority of my family, I'm okay. It's just, man.
And I figured out that introvert thing. I've always thought I had to be the life of the party. And then I got sober, and now I spend most of the day where I don't talk to anybody. There's nobody around. I'm by myself, and I love it.
And I think that's probably like the
grand.
difference with my job. I talk all day, and I'm literally de-escalating people all day long. And I had someone literally when I was walking out the door, I had one of the keys call and like someone needs to speak to you right now. And so I had to go over there, and talk to a guy for about 30 minutes. And it's very, very chaotic. There's a lot of screaming and all kinds of stuff. But
Well, I managed people for a long time, and I had to deal with a lot of wild all the time. But just in the last couple of years of like working for myself, I'm just like, I love this. Like it's
nice, huh?
not the money. It's just I like the solitude of it,
Yeah.
And like me and Randy T were talking the other day, and he's like, the good news is you can't fire your employee. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. So
and I'm not saying I don't love my job.
it's just you have to manage the requirements of the job with how it affects you.
Well, absolutely. And I know that at the end of the day, I'm spent.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
absolutely spent. And that's when my self-care kicks in. I just had a wonderful Pilates class the other day, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Very
because
important.
I feel that,
Very.
Matt does goat yoga.
Yeah. It's a different
I like
thing.
goat yoga. I love goats. But anyway, and I think that's important to
A lot of fellas out
to
this way.
incorporate into my self-care program because of what the health benefits and whatnot. I think that's important for me.
But I think the program teaches you to adapt. And I mean, y'all both have, with a lack of a better term, big boy jobs, and you gotta do things and deal with people. And it's not always your choosing of the situation. And I've had those type things too, where there's a lot of people looking at you for answers and problem solving and all that. And man, you just have to, my last year in the working for someone else in the grass business, that was God going, you're done. Like you're
remember
done.
that.
I was so sick of it.
Yep.
And just
Done.
like,
You're not capable of
this
working
is
for
not
another.
this is not your deal. Like, and Ben, who comes on the program, he worked with me there, and he's like, "Can we check your blood pressure?" I'm like, "I can't sleep. Like I'm waking up in the middle of the night. Like it's problems all the time." And it was bad, and it was God's way of going, "Idiot, just take a step. Try this." And it's been very hard in a lot of ways, but it's been mentally and stuff way better.
Ultimate
So,
self-care.
Sure.
And like I said, these aren't things like we just automatically did in early recovery. These are things that I've learned just kind of along the way, what works and what doesn't, and I know when things don't work, so I start getting anxiety and I start to lose my peace. And to me now, there's nothing.
Yeah.
that's worth it to me.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely nothing. If,
So, Matt-
if it doesn't give me peace, I'm out. Sorry, Matt.
No,
Mike, or
that's
whoever you are.
okay. Do you have a self-care program, Matt?
Man, you know what my self-care is? I this may shock a lot of people, but I do. The solitude for me has been so good because I can sit, I can listen to stuff all day. I have headphones in. I can listen to things. I'm out in the fresh air, nature. I see deer, I see animals, and to me, and then I have problems that go on that it's just me to deal with them. So
Yeah.
I have to figure things out on something that's not bad, but it's, to me, that's been the biggest self-care for me, you know, and if something's going on, especially if I'm in a tractor with a cab, I can call my sponsor at any time of the day. Like there's no, you know, but yes, I've learned, hey, you know, I mean, even I know this may sound crazy, but going to the doctor and starting to take blood pressure medicine and crap, you know, like,
That's self-care too.
man, I didn't do none of that crap. I remember going to the doctor I have now, and we got to talking, and I said, look, I'm in recovery. I did this, and this. And we went through the whole gamut, and she's familiar with the program. And she said, part of your health is your sponsor and your meetings. And like, when I go in for my doctor checkup, she goes, you still going to your meetings or talk to your sponsor? Like, my doctor asked me that. So, but yeah, to get on blood pressure medicine, and I don't have headaches all day now and all that kind of good stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And all that helps and pushes you in a different direction to where you go, man, I've really changed. Things have really changed, you know?
Absolutely.
So, but I do love the solitude, man. I listen to stuff and, you know, I just enjoy it. Like, it's just, me and Mike were talking the other day. I'll turn on something on YouTube while I'm driving. When I'm driving, just flip it up on the dash, and I can watch it on a little TV, and I'll watch whatever or listen to music or whatever it might be. And man, for me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So
My weekends are solitude. I mean, it's me mowing and doing the different things around here, and I really enjoy that. You know, other things like even music gets too much for me for sometimes, and I have a podcast that I listen to that's just information, you know, history, and also talks about like the outdoors, and I love it. And you know, I know it calms me down, and you know, it's just incorporating all these little things, you know, that I possibly can to keep me cool.
And, you know, even self-care goes so far as we find this higher power and we trust him to take care of things. And like going back to like the last couple of years of changing this job over and doing that kind of stuff. And it's like, for me, it was like God was pushing me to go, here's your example. You've been doing this with these folks for 15 years, the chaos and of other folks and their problems and all this stuff. And you're sick to death of it. But you want to keep getting those jobs. Why don't you, you know, and to take that leap and kind of trust and go, okay, hope I don't starve to death, you know? Right. And it was almost getting pushed into that. It took, but man, what a freeing thing to go, I can survive. Like I'm not going to wilt away and die. And, you know, man, that for me was another breath of fresh air to be able to do that, you know?
Absolutely. So. Yeah. There's definitely, you know, the spiritual aspect, like you mentioned, and prayer is huge for me. You know, every morning is prayer and, you know, gratitude list and affirmations and sometimes I just don't listen to music or podcasts or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just quiet.
Yeah.
And that's nice. But I'm curious, Mike, what about you, man?
Man, look, here's the deal. Probably not a good example, especially to someone new in recovery.
Yeah.
I wake up at usually at 5:30 to 6, somewhere in there. And I know I've stated different times, but on the podcast right now, my time is 5:30 to 6. And I spend between 5:30 and 6:30 or 6 and 6:30 on my computer in my den. just doing financial stuff.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's whatever I'm doing, you know. So I get all that knocked out early in the morning, and I drink a couple of coffees. I drink 2 cups of coffee while I'm there, 2 big giant cups of coffee while I'm sitting there.
Venti.
And venti. And then I get up and I grab my backpack and I go to work, and I usually don't come home for 15 hours. And then when I get home, I usually take a bath, and there's a little ritual that goes with that because it's just a ritual. And then after that, I pray. I pray right when I wake up, and I pray right before I go to bed. And then I get in bed and I read, and I usually read until around 2 a.m. And then I start back over at 5:30, and I do that 7 days a week unless I'm coming over here to record.
We know this about you.
But it has gotten to be to where, you know, let's just say I'll go on a, I don't know, 15, 20 day, 15 hour a day streak. And then that day will come and my son will be like, hey, can you come? And I feel guilty if I leave work, you know, like, I don't know, you know, I'm like, and every once in a while though, I just have to say, hey, look, you know, don't be stupid. You know, go do whatever it is you need to do. For the most part, I have nothing to do. Like I don't have anything else to do.
Well, I mean, I've noticed you've been fishing. You know, going out on the boat.
Yeah, that particular day, my son had gotten some bad news the day before, and I could tell he was a little down. So I said, you know what? Why don't I take off tomorrow, and me and you go hit the lake and do a little fishing, if that's okay with you. And he's like, hey, perfect. And then just as an added bonus, my grandson shows up with him, you know. And, you know, it's cool to have grandkids out there. You know, I always thought, my grandson is 7. And I always thought, you know, by the time, especially whenever I was in my drinking, you know, I was like, man, whenever this kid's, of course, I was sober when he was born, but I was thinking, whenever I have a grandson and he's 5, 6, 7, you know, he can drive the boat and we can drink all day. You know, what's the law gonna say when they pull up my 5-year-old? Give him the ticket, you know. But you know, now he just drives it because he's a better driver than all of us. But you know, but I will take time out for someone else's mental health, but for some reason will not for mine. And I don't get it. I don't understand it.
All that being said, you've heard 3 different ways that are very vastly different on a lot of it, but it all works for us, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I'm in a better spot than I've ever been in sobriety.
And some things we don't think about, Matt. Our thought processes, as you know, hey, maybe a genius. No one's questioning you, right? But our thought process is what got us into these situations that we're in, right? Mm-hmm. So if my thought process says you need to be at work 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that just doesn't go along with mainstream anything, you know, even executives don't do that, right? And I'm not at that status, but so you got to sit back and say, hey, your thinking's wrong. You know, you're allowing your thinking. You got to, you know, go fishing. It's okay. You know,
Absolutely.
I think I get 9 weeks paid vacation every year. And I end up using maybe 2.
Yeah, you take off like little bitty.
Well, I usually I'll do, and if something's got to be going on for me to do, even use that 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I find myself actually looking down at my peers who actually do that, to take their time, right?
Really?
And yeah, I do. I say that, and I say that on the air, and I say it out loud because that is a thought that I have to say, hey, look, they're enjoying their life. We don't do this very strenuous job, this hardcore thing we do all day, every day, so that we can do this strenuous thing all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
You know, so, and I justify it by saying, well, you know, the people I know and love can benefit from my pay, right? And, you know, that makes me, okay, well, go on about your business, you know, but our thought processes get you in that. So, you know, every once in a while we shut it down, we'll go to the lake. I'll go pick up the grandson. We'll go to the arcade, play some video games, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. And in Dallas, you know, driving across Dallas is almost sometimes the equivalent of driving from Dallas to Shreveport. Like it can take 3 hours to get all the way across Dallas, depending on what's going on. There is a wreck at any given point, any given day. You're going to have two things happen. I don't care if you're on a back road or if you're on a main highway, you're going to have a wreck and you're going to have a construction.
Oh, yes.
Like they
Dallas
simultaneously work on every road at the same
They're
time.
like, hey, we're putting some tar on this. Could somebody wreck up there? Can we get a wreck?
Or it's like, so we're going to block this road off. Make sure that shortcut over there is blocked off too. We hate for anybody to get where they're going.
It's literally been nonstop since the 80s.
Yeah.
The construction. It just never
Oh,
stops
I
in
thought you was
Dallas.
talking about the cocaine use, but
Wait, what?
Back to Ozzy again.
but if you go like say, I live in a little town called Burleson. If you look it up on a map, it is 20 minutes outside of Fort Worth tops, maybe 10 outside of Fort Worth, right? And so you take I-20 all the way across Texas and you get on a road called 35 and you just take 35 south, and I live right off of that 10 minutes down the road. And so I can get up in the morning and want to go to Grand Prairie or Plano or even North Fort Worth, and it's 7 o'clock. And I set it to X spot in Plano, and my arrival time is 9:15. And by the time you get there, that's changed to 11:45 or just some astronomically crazy thing.
Yeah.
Dallas traffic though is famous.
It's
Everybody knows about it. I to be honest with you, it's one of the things I did get used to. Very early on in living in DFW, you say, "Hey, look, I gotta set my alarm for this. I gotta leave here, even if it's just a 18-mile trip." Like it's, one morning, very tragic accident happened. I believe a police officer was killed in the accident, and of course, I didn't know what's going on. I leave my house, and just to get from my house to 8 miles from where I live, the expected time was like 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Good Lord.
And so I turn around and take back roads, for an hour and 15 minutes just to get 8 miles. And, but it gives me a time to listen to podcasts and I enjoy music. I enjoy all music. It doesn't, I will go anywhere from Mozart, Beethoven to
Tom Jones,
Run DMC, the Backstreet Boys, Aerosmith. I mean, you name it, man. I just, there's something in all of this that at some point in my life that this was the theme of my life.
Yeah.
Except for the Friends song.
Yeah,
We don't want to hear when the moment with Tom Jones was. We just keep that off the
And
record.
I think, according to people, their temperament, their personalities, how they were raised, all of that is what, is what creates someone's tolerance or intolerance when it comes to what they can handle, And, I think that, we get to a point and we have to realize, why is self-care so important to me? And I think with age, I think a lot of people start to realize that, people are going and just doing so much. And they really kind of realize oh my gosh, what have I done to myself?
Well, that brings me to another thought. Like when we're in our throes of our liquor, we could care less about later in life, right? We don't give a damn. It's right here, right now, and we may not live to see tomorrow. And if you do, your back is not going to welcome that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that a lot of us, things start to happen to us. We get fatigued, we get burnout. People get sick, and these are ways I think that God is like, hey, you need to slow down and take care of yourself. And and we all do this.
Yeah.
And I think that's our body's way of giving us signs, God's way of giving us signs that something's not right. You're not taking enough care of yourself. And I have been put on my ass.
Yeah,
a few times, a bunch of times, you need to slow down and you need to focus on some other things and take better care of yourself. But, I think that a lot of people don't pay attention to those signs and they end up having massive heart attacks. They end up with just all kinds of stuff.
Go back to addiction. You know,
Oh, go back to
relapse,
addiction,
do those
divorce.
things.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a million things I could think of, but you know, and there's tons of maladaptive behaviors that people can revert back to, but that's not okay for us.
Right.
It is absolutely out of the question. So, what's great about AA, and even through counseling and therapy or whatever, is learning all these skills and learning more about myself, because I have gone through the steps multiple times, and I do learn more about me. And I think more will be divulged and things will change because they always do. And I will adapt, like we were talking about earlier, as needed.
And I think spending time in the sauna with your friends, such as we are now, is also.
Let me tell you something. I'm glad
God.
both of y'all showered before this. I did myself because I knew what was going to happen.
I wasn't sure because you were like loaded up with cologne.
I didn't want to.
Jill, did you turn the air on this thing today?
I turned it on last night.
It might be time for a new air conditioner.
Let me tell you something. If I'd have rolled in full grass cutter and not took a shower before this, it'd have been a 10-minute podcast. Y'all would have been up out of here.
I'm very hot.
Yes, your cheeks are shining. With
I know. I feel like I have to sit like with my arms out.
Well, self-care, and we'll wrap it up with that. We've covered a great bit of stuff on this program. And most importantly most importantly to me is to remember that our sick brains got us into this. Our sick brains are always going to tell us something other than what's best for us. Right?
Yep.
And I think, Jill, you had a really good, where you say, I say no. You set your boundaries and you say no. And that's very important because it's what keeps you sober in the end, or what keeps you sane in the end.
Well, I can't help other people if
you're
I'm not
jacked
taking
up.
care of myself.
Absolutely.
And that's what I do for a living.
Absolutely.
Take care of other people.
You put, so, there's all forms of self-care. Just make sure that you're doing something, right? As opposed to nothing. And I'm not talking about drinking a lot of water or putting on a lot of lotion or taking baths on a regular basis. I mean, that should be shit you do normally, but if it ain't, hey,
That's more like
Maybe you should start there.
yeah, I'm tired of using toilet paper. What I'm talking about is like, take time, take 15 minutes a day, take 20 minutes a day, take 30 minutes a day. If there's some point of your life or some aspect and you're not happy, change it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
If you're in that first year of recovery, I wouldn't suggest doing anything without a sponsor.
Don't change anything.
But if you're not in that first year and you've got a good sponsor or a good routine, and no matter what you think, you might want to change it.
Yeah.
For your long-term mental health. I can tell you now, I wake up 7 days a week and I realize that I'm 52 and that I do not have 50 years left. I could end up, having another 75.
You're going to be like Keith Richards, dude.
Yeah, I could be like,
307 years old.
There's no, I don't know what the future holds, but I know that there's not going to be a whole lot of fun being had at 100 years old either.
You just never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, we just had a centurion in Shreveport,
I don't
passed
know
away at
that.
111.
Dang.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to
Think back before written records. It's really easy to be 111. You know what I mean?
Before birth certificates.
Well, I mean, if you think about, we're in 2025, right? And 100 years ago was obviously 1925, right?
Yep.
You realize World War II hadn't even started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Matter of fact, World War II would not end until 1945. Mm-hmm. So that's only 80 years ago, right? I'm guessing. My math may be wrong. But so 100 years is a long time.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot longer than what we, sometimes give ourselves credit for. And if we've got that much time on the planet, we might want to take care of what we do carry around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is us. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, and if you haven't figured that out yet, just think about what are some of the things you used to like to do, especially for newcomers? Because I was like, I don't know. And it was like, oh, okay, let me get back into the hobbies I had when I was younger. What brings me joy? And trying new things
Shooting
out.
dice.
Lincoln Logs.
Well,
Play-Doh.
I'm not saying like regress
Some of us been
back
drinking a
to-
long time, Jill. Playing with Barbies.
What'd you do before you drink? I guess I'll go back to wearing diapers, you know?
My mom used to clean my ass for me. I'll stop by mom's this weekend, see if she's busy.
No.
Celebrate my recovery.
No. Well, and I think it does. Well, think about this. I mean, it freaks a lot of newcomers out because it's almost. It is unfathomable to think that what else do I do?
Yeah. I think there's that moment or not moment, but there's that time where it's like, this is really boring. I don't know what I am or what I'm doing, what I like to do. And is this ever going to change?
Somehow
and what
your
we're all
house
saying
is shifting or something. Matt's camera just seems to have somehow managed to
I think
always.
that's, I don't know,
Go ahead, Matt. I'm
or
sorry.
a ghost or something.
Yeah.
We might do a paranormal
Freaking
podcast.
Patrick Swayze running around here.
A couple of people have passed in this house.
Now you tell us.
I got to go.
Past what? Kidney stone, exam.
Passed away.
I was working at a rehab.
Gas.
I was working at a rehab. A dude's wife drives him all the way from the Gulf Coast of Mississippi to Ruston, Louisiana in the middle of the night. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. She drops him off. I do his intake, get him into the men's wing. He's been there about an hour. This poor lady has turned and headed back to Mississippi, right? Dropped him off, his wife. He sits down. The facility used to be a nursing home. He's sitting in the chair. One of the clients walks by and says, "Hey, you knew this used to be a nursing home. Wait till tonight when all the ghosts start bumping around." That guy looked up. He said, "Ghosts." And he said, "Get my wife on the phone." He made that lady come back and get him and drive him all the way back.
Oh, wow.
He was out. So Yeah.
Self-care, very important. Do
he
it.
took care of himself right there. No
Do
ghosts.
it.
Does anybody have any more announcements? Anything else we need to cover before we wrap this bad boy
I
up?
think I sweated on the microphone.
That's
So,
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like my fingers are sweating.
It's okay. It's okay.
This too shall pass.
This too will pass. Do we have anything else we need to cover?
I don't believe so.
All right, gang. From Bossier City, Louisiana, we have been at Rule 62 Studios, and we have been the Grouch and the Brainstorm.